we will have to go back energetically a long, long time ago, long before Earth was created, to a time when, how to say, the angels first began roaming and traveling about the omniverse, indeed helping to create the omniverse. There was an energetic property called duality that was created, not by God, but by the angels, by all of you. The angels created this property called duality, which is really the opposites, to help understand more of their experience. Without light, you could not understand dark. Without up, you could not understand down. Also, without the masculine energy, you could not understand the feminine. So these duality energies were created, and at the core was the energy of masculine, feminine. We're not talking here about the male body and the female body. We're talking about a feminine energy and a masculine, sometimes also called the negative and the positive. Throughout all times since then, even up through the time of the creation of Earth and of angels coming to Earth and taking on human form, there have been these attributes of masculine and feminine, different expressions of the same basic energy, but indeed different expressions. When the first angels came to Earth, they not only brought in a masculine or a feminine energy, they created a physical, biological body that had distinct differences, what you now call man and woman. So they took these attributes of masculine and feminine and exaggerated them and brought them to materialization in the body. And it has been that way ever since. We are now coming to a new energy on Earth. We're coming to an entire new time on Earth. And it's coming very quickly. And part of this whole change process in the new energy is the remelding or reblending of the masculine and the feminine energies, bringing these back into unity so that any human will eventually be able to carry a balanced masculine, feminine energy, even if their biology tends to be more male or female. But they are now melding these two core energies into one body. This is the, how to say, the spiritual understanding of what is happening, but it also comes down into more scientific terms. Scientists right now understand that there are two basic strands to the DNA. Some of the more, how to say, progressive scientists and thinkers of your time have come to realize that there are not only two visible strands, but that there are also 10 invisible strands, for a total of 12. What they have not seen yet, but that has been coming into reality on Earth, is there is a 13th strand, and it is what we call the unity strand. This is the energetic element that brings together all of the other elements that have been in polarity within any human body and within any human consciousness. This 13th strand allows the reunification of masculine and feminine. It allows for the reunification of what you would call light and dark, or good and bad. It brings back into unity all of the old duality elements. So, somehow, this 13th strand had to be manifested on Earth through a biological method for it to, how to say, become embedded in the consciousness so that others could eventually take advantage of this and bring together all of their fragmented parts and pieces of their past lives or their consciousness. So there was a very small group, and a very, courageous group, who agreed, particularly in this last 50 years of time, to come to Earth with this 13th DNA strand and allow it to begin manifesting in consciousness. Every angel who volunteered for this job of bringing in the 13th strand ended up being what you would call gay or lesbian, or what we call blended, because they have an inherent balance, equal balance of masculine and feminine energy within their consciousness. Perhaps it is not expressed in their biology simply because of the way biology is set up right now. But they came to Earth, and because of the balance of these energies, they chose to become what you would now call gay or lesbian. They carry an equal balance, but more importantly, they carry the 13th DNA strand with them. It is not because of some reincarnation mix-up. It is not because an individual spent too many lifetimes as masculine or feminine. And to address that point for a moment, there is not truly much switching back and forth anyway in genders between lifetimes. Most humans tend to stay in either one biology or the other. There is not a big switching back and forth, but it is not an issue of punishment, of making a wrong decision. It is a conscious and deliberate decision to come to Earth to bring in the unified 13th strand. Consciousness of humanity in general does not like change, as we said before. They tend to hold on to old ways because they are fearful. Most of humanity now feels great change happening on Earth, and much more change coming in these next few years. They view this whole area of sexuality changing. They feel this whole area of the masculine and feminine energies changing. In their human mind, their brain, they do not understand it and they fear it, so they do anything they can to hold it off. In a sense, they direct their hate at the gays and lesbians because they, at the inner levels, sense that these are change makers. These are ones coming to Earth to change the ways. Indeed, they cause, the churches to go up into arms. They cause the politicians to have more battles and dialogues than ever before. There's another element to it, an important element. This has to do with, lifetimes and lifetimes of abuse of sex, abusing and controlling another through sex. All of this is coming to the forefront now. Most, what you call straight people, in a sense, feeling these changes and therefore placing their own negativity and their own hatred of themselves and things they have done sexually in the past on the gays and lesbians. They are projecting their own fears and hatreds onto all of you. Over the ages of humanity, there have been great abuses that were done sexually. It is easier to torture a person sexually than physically, because sexually it affects the body, the mind, and the spirit. It is easier to control people sexually. There have been great heinous acts of abuse, sexual abuse, that have taken place in the days of Atlantis, in the days of your what you would call your modern society. These have taken place forever and ever. It is like a human karma that is coming to the forefront now. The gays and the lesbians are taking the brunt of this. The gays and the lesbians are also allowing themselves to cleanse some of this old karma. They are taking much of the responsibility of old sexual abuse on within their bodies, and this whole thing that you call AIDS. The gays and the lesbians and those who get AIDS are taking on a karma for all of humanity to help cleanse this old sexual energy. It needed to be cleansed somehow. And the same group here that came to Earth to bring in the 13th strand is also accepting the responsibility of a very old Earth karma. Indeed, many of the blended ones do carry the guilt for humanity, and there are some valid reasons. There are, if you would go into many, for the listeners here, many of your past lifetimes, many, not all, but many of you were the perpetrators of sexual abuse in the past, in your past lifetimes. That is why you have chosen to come back heroically in this lifetime to help bring a new type of love and a new type of understanding to humanity in general, because you have been in the darkest of the dark places. You still carry that guilt, many of you, not all of you. You still carry that guilt deep within you, and therefore, in a sense, because of that guilt, which is an imbalance, you've allowed yourself and your culture to manifest this thing called AIDS. It is, as we said, you are taking on a humanity karma, but it is also tied into some of your pasts as well. We are here more than anything. Our purpose of being here at this gathering is to share with all the blended individuals, the gays and lesbians on Earth, that you do not need to carry this karma for humanity. It is not something that God is punishing you with. It is not something that you were told that you had to do. It is not a punishment for anything you have done in the past. It is something you have accepted within your group of gays and lesbians as a way of serving and helping humanity to take on their karma from the past. But you cannot take on another's karma. You cannot. We are asking all of you, our agenda for being here is to ask all of you to release this belief that you can take on this karma for Earth right now. It will find resolution on its own, but you don't need to take it on. That is why there are thousands and thousands of angels on our side today who have come here, gathered here with us on our side, who realize this, who are pleading with you, who are still in human body, that you do not have to take this on.
Dear Tobias, having realized that I am female, though I live in a male body, I now wish to modify my body to fit my true self and live on as a female. How can I support my loved ones through this and help them accept me as who I really am?
The first thing that we ask you to do here is to take some time by yourself, if it means a vacation away from all others. And we ask you first, before you alter your physical body, to take a look at your spiritual being, to take a look at the fact that you are both masculine and feminine energy together. Allow these energies in your quiet time alone by yourself. Allow the masculine and feminine energies to dance together. We see that there is somewhat of an imbalance here. We see that you want to literally try to cut off one of the energies from yourself. It is about marrying together the physical and masculine within yourself. And while you are doing it, we want you to marry the light and dark energies within yourself. Yes, you have both of them. You have both. And after spending a period of at least 1 week by yourself, then reassess how you feel about altering your physical body. And if you do decide to change your physical looks, all of the angels in heaven will be celebrating. If you decide not to, all of the angels will be celebrating. We love whatever decision that you make, and we support it, for we understand there's a driving and compelling reason from the soul for doing this. But looking at your energy in particular, we ask you to spend some time by yourself. Make love to yourself during this week or two of time. Make love to yourself often. Don't be embarrassed or ashamed of it. It is natural. It is a way of truly discovering something about yourself. Indeed, in the what you call transgender, there is a battle going on within them, and a battle trying to understand the masculine and feminine energies. They are ones who specifically came to Earth, for instance, in a male body, but with very, very prominent feminine energies. They did this at their choice, trying to help them establish a better balance between the two. And yes, it is very uncomfortable being in a male body if you have a feminine energy. The body and the spirit are screaming out to you to try to help bring these things back into balance. That is why we just suggested to the last human who asked the question here to spend some time with yourself, to ask yourself why you chose that body, why you chose to bring it in with this energy. What is your body and what is your spirit really trying to tell you? It is trying to tell you to bring things back into balance. That is a different situation than what we call the blended ones or the 13th stranders. It is different, but yet there are common elements, because it is about bringing masculine and feminine back into balance. They are not what we call blended or 13th balancers. They are in battle or disharmony with themselves. Many end up with diseases of the body because they are not accepting who they truly are. And there is a difference between these, yes.